What do you do when you're tired of being strong? When you're smiling on the outside but slowly crumbling inside? When each day feels like a burden, not a blessing? There comes a point in life when the weight becomes unbearable, and in those moments most people break. But the few who don't, they learn to carry it differently. This video is for that moment, for when life gets too heavy and you don't know if you can keep going. For the days when even getting out of bed feels like a battle. When you're surrounded by people, but still feel alone. When it seems like no one notices how much you're holding in, and you're just waiting for someone, anyone to say, "I see you, and you're doing better than you think." But here's the truth, the world rarely tells you. You are allowed to feel exhausted. You are allowed to feel broken. But you are not allowed to quit on yourself. Not now. Because right in the middle of your heaviness, right in the middle of your struggle, there is something powerful waiting to be discovered. You. The real you, the resilient, unbreakable, determined you. This journey isn't about pretending life is perfect. It's about learning how to survive when it's not. It's about finding the strength to keep walking when the road disappears. It's about finding your fire again, even if it's just a flicker. Maybe you've lost something, maybe you've failed, maybe you feel like life passed you by, but you're here. You pressed play on this video because something inside you hasn't given up yet, and that is where we begin. This isn't a highlight reel. This is the real stuff, the hard stuff, the stuff that builds champions. Because when life gets heavy, most people look outward, for distractions, for rescue, for answers. But what if the answer isn't out there? What if the answer has been inside you all along? This video will not fix your problems, but it will remind you of the power you forgot you had. It will show you that even in your weakest moments, you are not powerless. It will teach you that when the world says stop and your heart says, "I can't," there's still one thing you can do, refuse to give up. So take a breath, let go of the pressure to be perfect, and listen. Because this is not the end of your story. It's the start of your comeback. The weight we all carry. Life isn't always light. Sometimes it feels like the world is pressing down on your shoulders, silently, relentlessly. You wake up already tired. You go through your day carrying invisible burdens that no one else sees. You laugh when people are around, but deep inside, a part of you is breaking. It's not always a single tragedy that crushes you. Often, it's the slow accumulation of disappointments, regrets, expectations, and silent struggles that pile up until one day, it all feels too heavy to carry. You might be grieving a loss, or maybe you're battling anxiety, drowning in financial stress, facing rejection, or simply stuck in a loop that makes life feel meaningless. You wonder if you're falling behind, if you'll ever get ahead, if anyone truly understands what you're going through. But here's the truth that too many people forget. You're not the only one carrying a heavy load. Every human being, no matter how strong they appear, carries their own unseen burdens. Some carry pain from the past, others carry fear of the future. But the one thing that connects us all is this. We are all struggling in our own way. The difference isn't in who has the heaviest load. The difference is in who keeps going, even when it hurts. When life gets heavy, you don't need to have all the answers. You don't need a perfect plan or a 10-step guide. You just need to do one thing. Keep moving forward. One step, one moment, one breath at a time. Because the weight will crush you only if you stay still. But the moment you move, even just a little, something shifts. The heaviness doesn't disappear, but it becomes bearable. Why? Because motion creates momentum, and momentum breaks stagnation. You don't need to conquer the whole mountain today. Just climb 1 inch. Just survive this hour. Just take one brave breath and say, "I'm still here." That's what strength really is. Not never falling, but rising every time you do. Not being fearless, but choosing to move through fear. Not having it all together, but still pushing forward when everything feels broken. You're not weak for feeling tired. You're not a failure for struggling. You're human. But within you lies a force stronger than anything life can throw at you. And that force wakes up the moment you decide to keep going. So, when the weight gets unbearable, do this one thing. Don't stop. Don't wait to feel strong. Act anyway. There's a dangerous lie the world keeps repeating. That you have to feel strong to take action. That you must wait until you're confident, motivated, or ready. But let's be honest. If you wait until everything feels perfect, you'll be waiting forever. Strength isn't something you find, it's something you build, and it gets built in the moments when you don't feel like moving at all, but you move anyway. That's the hard truth most people don't want to face. Your emotions don't have to be in alignment with your actions. You can feel broken and still take the first step. You can feel fear and still show up. You can feel exhausted and still choose to rise. That's not being fake. That's being courageous. Look around you. The strongest people you admire, they didn't become that way because they always felt good. They didn't wait for motivation to knock on their door. They didn't ask for permission to move. They took action in their weakness. They built consistency out of chaos. And that's what gave birth to their power. It's time you stop treating your feelings like facts. Just because you feel weak doesn't mean you are. Just because you feel lost doesn't mean the path is gone. Emotions are loud, but they're not always right. If you follow them blindly, they'll lead you into paralysis. But if you act despite them, they'll eventually catch up to your progress. When life gets heavy, you don't need to lift the whole weight all at once. Just lift a little. You don't need to climb the whole staircase. Just take the first step, and then another, and then another. That's how strength builds, through action. Think of it like lighting a fire. At first it's cold. You're striking the match in the dark. You don't feel the heat, but you keep striking anyway. You keep gathering fuel, and slowly the flame grows. Then the warmth comes. Then the light. But none of it starts unless you act first. You don't need to wait for the fear to leave to be brave. You don't need to wait for confidence to lead. You move anyway. And with every small action, you take your power back. So the next time your mind tells you, I'm not ready, tell it, I don't need to be, and move. Show up for yourself when it's hardest. Do the hard things when you feel your weakest. That's the only way strength is truly born. When life gets heavy, don't wait for perfect. Don't wait for peace. Don't wait for clarity. Move through the storm. That's where your strength is waiting. Turn the pain into power. Pain has a purpose, even if you can't see it right now. When life hurts, when you're brought to your knees, when you feel like everything is falling apart, you have two choices. Let the pain break you or let it build you. Most people try to run from pain. They numb it, deny it, bury it deep. But what if you turned around and faced it? What if instead of avoiding it, you used it? Because pain, real pain, is not weakness. It's not a sign that you failed. It's fuel. It's fire. It's energy that, if channeled correctly, can rebuild you stronger than ever before. Some of the most powerful people you admire today didn't become great in spite of their pain. They became great because of it. They used their darkest chapters as the foundation for their brightest future. They didn't let their wounds define them. They turned them into weapons. Pain forces you to look within. It burns away the distractions and exposes who you really are. It teaches you what matters, what doesn't, and what you're truly made of. And if you let it, it can shape a version of you that's more resilient, more focused, more unstoppable than ever before. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it's unfair. But no, it's not the end. You see, diamonds are created under pressure. Steel is forged in fire. And your greatest transformation often begins in your darkest moment. The pain you feel today could be the birthplace of your power, if you stop resisting it and start learning from it. Ask yourself, what is this pain trying to teach me? What is it pushing me toward? What strength is it calling me to develop? Don't just endure it, evolve through it. That heartbreak, let it remind you how deeply you're capable of loving. That failure, let it show you how badly you want to win. That loss, let it make you grateful for the people and time you still have. Let every ache, every tear, every scar become me a source of fuel. Let the pain be your reminder that you are alive and that life is still moving. You are still here. You're still breathing. And as long as you are, you have something no pain can take away, your will to rise. So don't numb it, don't waste it, channel it. When life gets heavy and pain tries to crush you, don't just sit in the ashes, rise from them, burn brighter because of them. Turn that pain into power and let the world see what strength truly looks like. Focus on one thing, just one. When everything feels like it's crashing down around you, when your mind is racing, your heart is heavy and life feels completely out of control, it's easy to become overwhelmed. You start thinking about everything at once. Your failures, your future, your finances, your relationships. Your brain becomes a battlefield of thoughts. And that's when the weight of it all becomes unbearable. But in those moments, when life feels impossibly heavy, here's the secret. Don't try to fix everything. Don't try to carry it all. Just focus on one thing. One. You don't have to solve your whole life in one night. You don't need a perfect 5-year plan. You don't need to have every answer right now. What you need is a single step, a single task, a single focus point. That one thing might be as simple as getting out of bed, drinking water, going for a walk, finishing one small project, saying one positive thing to yourself. Whatever it is, make it small, make it clear, and make it happen. Because here's what happens when you focus on just one thing. You take your power back. You stop feeling lost in the chaos, and you create a pocket of control. And in that pocket, momentum begins. Overwhelm comes from trying to do too much at once. It paralyzes you. It makes you feel like nothing is working, nothing will ever get better, and you're trapped. But you're not. You're simply scattered, and scattered energy is powerless energy. But focused energy is a force of nature. That's why in your lowest moments, simplify everything. Don't ask, how do I fix my entire life? Ask, what's one thing I can do today that will help me feel a little stronger tomorrow? Just one thing. Because once you complete that one thing, no matter how small, it gives you a sense of progress. And progress breeds hope. And hope is the oxygen your soul needs to survive heavy seasons. Let that one thing anchor you. When your emotions spiral, when your mind screams, when fear shows up, return to that one focus. Block out the rest, quiet the noise, and act. You may not feel like you're changing much, but step by step, breath by breath, action by action, you are moving forward. And once you gain a little control, once you feel a bit of momentum, you can build from there. You do a second thing, then a third, and before you know it, you've created a shift. Remember, you don't need to have superhuman strength. You just need to master this one strategy. In the chaos, focus on one thing. And when life feels too heavy to carry, let that one thing carry you through. You are not weak for struggling. Let's clear something up right now. Struggling does not make you weak. Somewhere along the way, we were taught to believe that strength means having it all together, that crying is weakness, that needing help is failure, that if life knocks you down, you're not trying hard enough. But the truth is the exact opposite. Struggling is not weakness. It's proof that you're fighting. It's a sign that despite everything, you haven't given up. And that makes you powerful beyond words. You're still here. You're still breathing. You're still getting up, even if it's messy, even if it's painful, even if no one sees your effort. That is strength. Real strength isn't loud. It doesn't always look heroic. Sometimes it's getting through the day without falling apart. Sometimes it's making it through the night without giving in to the darkness. Sometimes it's showing up when your heart is heavy and your soul is tired. And here's what you must understand. The people who look the strongest on the outside, they felt weak too. They've cried behind closed doors. They've doubted themselves. They've failed, lost, and fallen countless times. But they kept going. So don't shame yourself for struggling. Don't compare your journey to someone else's highlight reel. Don't think for a second that because you're hurting, you're somehow broken beyond repair. Struggle is part of the human condition. We are all carrying something: grief, fear, regret, pressure. And just because you're dealing with something difficult doesn't mean you're not doing well. It means you're growing. Growth is messy. Healing is not linear. And becoming stronger often requires passing through seasons of intense pain. But you know what happens when you stop pretending to be fine all the time? You create space for real strength to emerge. Because strength isn't about pretending you don't. Feel. It's about feeling everything and still choosing to move forward. So if you're crying, keep going. If you're shaking, keep going. If you're scared out of your mind, keep going. Because in that very struggle, your future self is being formed. There is no shame in being human. There is no shame in not being okay. The only shame is in giving up on yourself. And you're not doing that. You're still in the fight, and that makes you unstoppable. You are not weak for struggling. You are strong because you haven't quit. You are strong because you keep showing up. Raw, real, and ready to grow. So breathe, stand tall, and walk forward with your head held high. You're not broken. You're becoming. The storm is temporary. You are not. No matter how long the night feels, the sun will rise. No matter how violent the storm, it does not last forever. And right now, if you're in the middle of one, if everything feels like it's falling apart, you need to remember this. The storm is temporary, but you are not. Pain doesn't last forever. Circumstances shift. Emotions pass. But who you become in the middle of it all, that can last a lifetime. When life gets heavy, it's easy to think this is how it's always going to be. Hard, exhausting, unbearable. But that's the voice of fear. That's the storm talking. And storms speak in fear because they want you to believe there's no end. But every storm runs out of rain. Every night eventually gives way to light. What you're feeling now is not your forever. It's a moment, a season, a chapter. And chapters don't define the whole book. But here's what can define you, how you respond to this storm. Do you hide? Do you give up? Or do you anchor yourself, plant your feet, and whisper through gritted teeth, I'll survive this too? Because you will. You've survived storms before. You've been through things that once felt impossible. And you're still here, stronger, wiser, tougher. This storm is not the end, it's another test, another proving ground. And maybe, just maybe, it's here to teach you something. Maybe it's shaking your life to remove what's not serving you. Maybe it's breaking you only to rebuild something more real. Maybe the storm isn't against you. Maybe it's refining you. You see, the deepest roots grow in the fiercest winds. The strongest people are shaped in the hardest seasons. Don't curse the storm. Learn from it. Let it sharpen your focus. Let it fuel your resilience. Let it remind you of what truly matters. Because when this storm passes, and it will pass, you'll walk out of it different. Not the same person walked into it. You'll be battle-tested, sharper, wiser, and more grateful for the calm that follows. So don't let a temporary struggle create a permanent mindset. Don't label yourself based on how you feel today. You are more than this moment. You are more than your fear, more than your pain, more than your past. You are permanent. The storm is not. Hold on. Breathe through it. Stand in the rain if you must. But don't forget, the sky always clears. The light always returns. And you always come back stronger. The comeback starts with you. No one's coming to save you. That might sound harsh at first, but it's actually one of the most liberating truths you'll ever embrace. Because the moment you stop waiting for someone to fix your life, to validate you, to pull you out of the mess, that's the moment you take your power back. The comeback doesn't begin when someone gives you a second chance. It doesn't begin when the world notices you. It doesn't begin when the pain is gone or the pressure is lifted. The comeback begins the moment you decide, enough is enough. You don't need to wait for motivation. You don't need permission. All you need is a decision. I'm not staying down. Not this time. Your strength has always been inside you. It was never lost, only buried. Buried under fear, self-doubt, trauma, failure. But it's still there. And every time you rise, even just a little, you uncover more of it. The comeback doesn't look like fireworks and applause. It's quiet. It's personal. It starts in the dark when no one's watching. When you finally say to yourself, I deserve more than this. I can be more than this. And then you move. You take one action, then another. You stop blaming the world and you take ownership. You stop waiting to feel ready and you just start. That's where transformation begins. Not in comfort, but in commitment. This is your moment. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. You might not control the past. You might not control what broke you. But you do control what happens next. And what happens next could be the beginning of the greatest version of your life, if you choose it. You don't need to be the same person you were before the storm. You don't need to go back to who you used to be. That person is gone, and that's okay. The comeback isn't about returning to the old you. It's about evolving into someone wiser, stronger, more real than ever before. So forget the timeline, forget the pressure, forget the noise. Just begin. Begin with what you have. Begin with who you are. Begin broken, scared, uncertain. But begin anyway. Because every great comeback story has one thing in common, a decision to rise. No matter what, no matter who doubted you, no matter how far you fell, no matter how long it takes. The fire you're looking for is inside you. The strength you need is already there. You don't need saving. You need activation. And once you light that fire, there's no stopping you. Your comeback starts now. Do this one thing. Refuse to give up. When life gets heavy, and I mean soul-crushing, breath-stealing, heartbreaking heavy, there's only one thing you need to do. Refuse to give up. That's it. That's the one thing. Refuse. Stand your ground, dig your heels in, and tell the world, you can knock me down, but I'm not staying there. You don't have to be the fastest, the smartest, the most gifted. You just have to be the one who refuses to quit. Because the truth is, the road to anything worthwhile is paved with resistance. And most people give up when it gets hard. Most people tap out when the pressure increases. Most people retreat when the battle gets real. But not you. You're still standing. Maybe you're bleeding. Maybe you're exhausted. Maybe you're barely hanging on. But you're here. And as long as you're here, you have the ability to rise again. Don't underestimate the power of stubborn endurance. That I won't quit attitude has built empires, saved lives, created champions, and it can change your life too. Refusing to give up doesn't mean you won't feel like quitting. You will. There will be nights where the tears won't stop. Mornings where you dread facing the day. Moments where you wonder, what's the point? That's normal. But in those moments, you dig deeper. You don't wait for the perfect mood or the right conditions or the miracle moment. You take a deep breath and keep going. One more day, one more step, one more try. Because greatness doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from walking through it with purpose. It comes from choosing to rise again and again, no matter how many times life tries to bury you. Let the world doubt you. Let the odds stack up. Let the fear scream in your ear. You hold the line. You keep going because your future depends on it. Because the version of you 5 years from now is counting on this moment. the moment. So you don't give up. This is where the transformation begins. In the decision to stay in the fight when everything in you wants to run. In the decision to believe in yourself when there's no evidence yet. In the decision to say, I don't care how heavy it gets, I will not break. This is your moment. This is your stand. So when life gets heavy, do this one thing. Refuse to give up and watch who you become. You made it to the end of this video. And that alone says something powerful. It says that you're still fighting, that despite the weight you carry, despite the storms you faced, despite the thoughts that try to pull you under, you're still here. And that matters more than you know. Because the strongest people aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who fall 100 times and still rise 101. They're the ones who cry in silence, break in private, but refuse to give up in public. They're the ones who keep showing up even when life gives them every reason not to. And that's you. You are stronger than your circumstances, braver than your doubts, more powerful than your past. Maybe no one has told you this in a while, so let me say it now. You've already overcome so much. You've already survived things that once threatened to destroy you. You are not behind. You are being prepared. You are not broken. You are being rebuilt. You are not lost. You are becoming. The heaviness you feel, it won't last forever. This storm will pass. The light will return. And when it does, you'll look back and realize you were never weak for struggling. You were always strong for enduring. But none of that happens unless you do one thing. The one thing this entire message has been building toward. Don't give up. Not today, not now, not ever. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to keep moving, one breath at a time, one step at a time, one small act of courage at a time. You're not running a race. You're climbing a mountain. And climbing is slow, painful, messy. But every inch you rise matters. Every moment you push forward adds up. Until one day you reach the top and realize, but it wasn't just about the summit. It was about who you became on the way up. So if you ever find yourself on the DG, if you ever feel like letting go, if you ever think this life isn't worth the fight, come back to this truth. You are worth it. Your story isn't over. Your power isn't gone. And your future is still waiting. Heavy or not, hard or not, you have what it takes. So carry the weight, walk through the fire, rise through the pain. And whatever you do, don't quit on yourself, because your next chapter might just be the one that changes everything.